Hello Ghouls and Dolls, Carly here with another Monster High video. Today we are meeting Bonita Femur, the daughter of a skeleton and the Mothman, who is from the Freaky Fusion line. This is what you get once you open the box. Of course you get the lovely Bonita. She doesn't come with a stand, and that's because her wings are actually keeping her propped upright, but she does come with a brush in the Freaky Fusion yellow color, and her hair ends down here, so you will be getting a lot of use out of this. And of course she comes with a diary, so let's go ahead and take a look at this. It's just the standard composition notebook style one, except hers is pink. There's her name, that's her tagline, and of course you guys can pause and read like always. So when I was reading this, I kind of was surprised by how much I like her. Her and I have really similar personalities. We're both kind of well, we're very nervous, anxious people, and so reading this totally made me fall in love with her because she's totally relatable for me, and I don't know, it's just, honestly, the personality for her is so clawesome. I really like her. I feel totally connected with her, to be honest. And then here is her About Me section. So there we go. The only thing that we don't agree on, though, is her least favorite subject is biology. I'm a total bio nerd. So that's the only thing that we don't really agree on. But there you go. Let's go ahead and move on to hair and makeup. Let's start out with the obvious, which is this ghoul has a lot of hair. If you thought Caddy Noir had a lot of hair, well, this ghoul has totally got her beat. Like, her hair extends to past where her heel is. There is so much hair here. It's this really pretty platinum blonde, and thankfully the texture on this is actually quite silky, so it's easy to brush through, and it doesn't get all scraggly like Caddy's. But she also has a few streaks up front that add a little bit of color to it, so she's got this really bright pink one and a black one. And then as for her makeup, she just has this really simple eye look going on here. There's a little bit of silver glitter on the brow, but everything else is white with a tiny bit of black right there as the defined crease color. Her lips, on the other hand, are pretty interesting. She has this dark purple lip liner with a little bit of it played up on the center of the lips and some accentuating little crevices in her lips, and she does have this really cute little pinky nude lipstick going on. So let's go ahead and move on to her accessories. She has this really interesting hairpiece at the top of her ponytail. It has some orange, yellow, and pink moths. And then she also has a belt, and this thing is really cool. It has a bright neon moth on it along with two neon spinal columns that just wrap around. And this thing is open at the back, so it's easily removed. It doesn't come off too easily, which is nice, so you don't have to really worry about losing it. But that's really all she has for accessories, so let's go ahead and move on to her fashion choices. Her dress is really bright and really busy despite having a black background, but there are just tons of these rainbow butterfly / moths on them. There's even little like trails of sparkle, and you have the same design here on the skirt, and it is kind of held together with these little plastic things, which you can snip if you want. And then throughout the entire dress you have this really interesting fishnet-esque material. It has bigger hoops and then little loops in there. You've also got little flared sleeves here. The underside of the sleeves look kind of like moth-bitten material. And the skirt itself is quite ragged, probably because, you know, she's a moth. She likes to snack on clothing when she gets nervous, so that's probably what happened to this skirt. So let's go ahead and move on to her shoes. They are the same color as her belt, which is this bright neon yellow, and they're just very whirly, swirly detailed. I can't actually pick out a pattern here, but she does have little hearts in the heels and on the outside of the shoes, so that's what they look like. Before wrapping up, let's take a look at her freaky flaws to see which comes from what side of her skeleton. Let's start out with the most obvious invisible one, which is her father, who is the Mothman. Obviously, she's got these really herkin huge wings right here. They start off as pink at the top and slowly transition into black. They actually have little angry eyeballs here, which is a really nifty little detail. They just kind of monster hide eye spots that you find on normal moths as a predator deterrent. And they also have these little bits of neon yellow film in between certain parts. She also has these little antennae up here instead of ears. And if you look at close-up shots of moths, you can see these two. They're just little fuzzy antennae. She also has fuzzy little moth legs. Let's go ahead and take you around back to look at the back of her wings, where you can finally start seeing her mother's side, who is a skeleton. So the connected part of the wings is actually a spinal column. You can see all of the vertebrae here and the coccyx, and you can also see all of the connected little ribs, which is super cool. These things do come out, which I find to be kind of helpful because she is a bit of a bulky doll. It does take a little bit of maneuvering, but they do come out eventually to just plug right back into her back right there. But now that we have that exposed, you can see her upper body, which is definitely skeleton. You have her spinal columns, her scapula, ribs, and the beginning of her arms. You got both of her humeruses here, humeri, I don't know. But if you look a little bit farther down, past her ribs, you start to see where the moth starts taking effect again. So all of her abdomen is mothy, with the exception of the spinal column, which continues running down. But let's take a look at the rest of her arms. You have both her radius and ulna here, and these little skeletal hands, which is super cool. And this might be a little inappropriate, but she actually has a full set of ribs, which is really, really cool. I just think that's a nice little touch, so I'm gonna cover her back up for some decency. But if you go ahead and look at her neck, which I think is actually insane how much detail they put into her, you actually have some of the muscles on the neck. Plus, you have her tonsils right there. Holy mackerel. Oh my gosh. Like, you can even see her voice box. This is crazy how much detail is in her. But yeah, that is super cool. Also, another cool little detail here, apart from her eyes being like the biggest things in the world, which are adorable, she actually has little squelettes in her pupils. That is so cool. And that's a wrap. Thank you so much for watching, and it would be scary cool of you to rate, comment, and subscribe. Bonita is definitely my favorite out of the mixed Scaritage doll line. She is super pretty, and I love her personality. Don't ever forget to be unique, be yourself, and be a monster. Now you can watch another one of my Monster High videos, or you can watch one of my friends' videos. Our pictures are always in the corner, like these 4 examples.